Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Grant Talks for the Bits, where we talk to expert stage hypnotists from around the world. And tonight, this afternoon, this morning, depending wherever it is you are watching from, is no exception. We have a fantastic guy. Recently bumped into this gentleman at the Michigan Hypnosis Conference. And I will just say this, it's very rare to meet a stage hypnotist with decades of experience that doesn't have a massive ego. Hasten to say, chatting to him, and I had no idea at first. And I went to watch his masterclass that he was doing on stage hypnosis, and it was amazing to kind of spend some time with this gentleman and his lovely wife. So, without further ado, if you have any questions, please do fire them into the comment section. Make him feel very welcome. Put lots of applause emoji in the comment section, but please say hello to the one, the only Michael Brody.
Oh, thank you, Grant. Thank you. Wow. Oh, I can hear the applause. It's amazing. Oh my
It
God.
is amazing. Yes. Uh,
Definitely. Oh my
there we go. Alex has got some applause for you here as well. Jeff Benink is here as well. So there we go. It's fantastic. Look at that applause coming up on screen for you
Oh,
there
I'm
as
not
well.
worthy. Oh no,
There
really.
you go.
I should be paying you guys.
So yeah, first things first. I mean, it was great. I mean, absolutely great to meet you at the My Hypnosis conference in Gaylord, Michigan. Um, I had an absolutely fantastic time, and it was so nice to meet you and your lovely wife. And I know there's lots of hypnotists that watch this that their partners. I call them hypnosis widows. You know, their partners kind of roll their eyes at the just mere mention of anything to do with hypnosis. But one thing for me that was so sweet is, as both myself and Richard Cole were talking to you, the way that your wife looked at you was just magical. It was lovely to see. Jason and Nobby Morgan says good evening as well. Jason, Nobby Morgan, whilst you were here, I actually have some Canadian beer for you from Richard Cole. So I will sort that out for you. So first things first, Michael. Is your 31st year performing?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing this since 1991. Having a blast doing every single year. Always learning new things because that's what everybody does. I was learning new things. And absolutely enjoying the expressions on every single person's face who gets hypnotized, which
Yeah,
makes it just 100 times better. So,
absolutely. I think we're very lucky in the sense of being stage hypnotists.
mhm.
You know, every show can be quite unique, but a lot of times audiences' minds are being open to a whole new world of hypnosis as well. Now, something we'll touch on very briefly, but you know, in my experience of stage hypnosis, it's very rare to find something that's new-ish. But I think we discovered something, or you know, I mean, it's you. I'm not going to take any credit for it, which was something that's quite absolutely amazing when it comes to a stage show. But we'll touch on that in a little bit. So, tell me about your first experience with hypnosis. How did you know? How did you discover what hypnosis was? Was it at school? Tell us about that.
Well, it's very interesting. I think back in 1988, back when the world was new, um, I uh, I used to be an international puppeteer. So I traveled all over the world doing puppet shows. Had a blast doing it, and I was in the U.S. tour, and I was in New York City, and performing puppetry for all these beautiful, adorable little kids, having a lot of fun. Well, in between shows, I happened to have been walking through the state fair, and there was a hypnotist there. His name was Russ Burgess, and as he was doing his show. I said, "Boy, this is gonna be so interesting. I would love to try out for a show." So, not knowing anything about hypnosis, of course, what's the first thing I did? Because I'm a ham, I tried out for a show. I absolutely went, and of course, I'm sitting in the first row, and they see this guy, half bald. Oh, would love to have him up there. This would be perfect. So I went up there and I started dancing like Michael Jackson. I was not a pretty sight. It was embarrassing. Couldn't take me anywhere. So, anyways, after the show, I talked to him, and he was just the nicest person. And I told him that I was another entertainer on the grounds. And he said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm the puppeteer." And he goes, "Oh, I love puppetry. It's one of my hobbies." I said, "Really?" I said, "This is amazing because I love this hypnosis. This is freaking amazing." So him and I became friends. It was a 3-week fair. I taught him some puppetry. He taught me the skeleton versions of stage hypnosis, and I literally fell in love with it right away. So I said, I'm going to take my new. And by the way, so we were doing this was like 3 years in a row that I was at this place, and I kept learning more and more and more. And while that was happening, I went. I have a whole bunch of theater friends because I'm in the theater, and they, showed them, talked to them a little about hypnosis. I told them, and I said, I'm a hypnotist. And I said, "Oh, can you hypnotize me?" Which is what everybody says. "Oh, please, just hypnotize." Either that or hypnotize them. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was here to. So I did that. I actually started hypnotizing, and my friends couldn't believe it. And it was, and now I got to tell you, 31 years ago, it was a horrible show, but me hypnotizing them was very, very cool. That was just incredible. So I was just having a blast doing it. Well, it just so happened that this one party that I was at, there was a high school principal there. And the high school principal on the other side of the state said, "Would you?" He's from the other side of the state, so he goes, "Would you like to come over and do a show for the high school?" I'm like, "How many are in your high school?" He goes, "Well, about 450." I said, "You want me to hypnotize people in front of 450 people?" "Yeah, no problem. Sure, no problem. I'm always up for a little chance, no problem." So I went out there, and of course, speaking of my beautiful wife, she was very, very honored. She came with me. Now it's not only because she was supporting me, but she was freaked out because I might have just flopped everything, and she was for the support and everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, uh, I went up there, and there were 20 chairs, hypnotized 20 people, had a blast, and that was my first hypnosis show.
That
And
is awesome.
from then on, everything got just more and more and more, and here I am today.
I mean, you mentioned then about kind of getting involved in the show. I will say, as a stage hypnotist, I'm a control freak. And I always encourage hypnotherapists, if you want to understand stage hypnosis, you have to volunteer for a show.
Mhm.
I thought it was amazing to see you volunteer for Michael Odo's show at the conference. And you are one of the best hypnotic subjects I have ever seen. You can dance, you can move, you can talk. You're a fantastic hypnotic subject. And I think that helps people be better hypnotists because you understand the process of what the audience or the volunteers are going through. So do you still enjoy being hypnotized as much as hypnotizing people?
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Awesome.
I have
Awesome.
so much. I now the problem is I really didn't want to go up there. I absolutely people if you went to see the show, it was a sight to see. It was quite embarrassing, but I enjoyed it. I had such a blast, and it was so incredibly relaxing. So I know that both sides of the scale. But I really didn't want to go up there because I really wanted to, as a hypnotist, I wanted to analyze to see, you know, certain parts and how he does things and how I do things.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, "No, I'm not going to go up there. No, I'm not going to." And when Dan went up there and he was the only one, well, then I was kind of brought up there. So yeah, and I'm one of those 1 in a million where all you have to do is say sleep and I'm out
Yeah.
and eat. And so
Yeah. Brian Glenn, fantastic hypnosis trainer here. I say here in the UK, he's in Spain. But he has a great question. It says, has your work got harder over the years from a legal PC correctness and NOTA perspective? So how has the show changed over that 30 years for
it,
you?
it hasn't gotten hard. I had to adjust.
Yeah.
And adjusting, I have to do things at the times. Like literally in the 90s, I could do certain suggestions because I usually work with a lot of. I usually when I do my shows, they're usually with 18 and youngers, or 21 and youngers.
Yeah.
I do a lot of college shows too. But what I'm saying is because of the way things are society wise, I had to adjust my show. I had to look what's going on with the society and change it, and that was fine. But at least, but the thing is that you must know, as a hypnotist, as a stage hypnotist, any whether it's a hypnotherapist or anything like that, you need to know what's going on, what's acceptable, and what's not.
Yeah.
And so that's important.
Yeah. I think you're right. Routines that can be completely innocent can just change and have such a different meaning depending on the context and where you are. I know in the US, in high school shows like the sleep gun, which was very popular for years, I know the sleep gun in certain high schools is completely outlawed now. Obviously, for I know you guys in America have gun issues, and I didn't know. I want to try and get that as PC as possible.
No,
There.
I understand completely. In
Yeah.
fact, I'll tell you, there was a gimmick I did in the 90s, that I had a water pistol.
Yeah.
And so the water pistol was given to one of the people who was very, very animated, very, very outgoing and stuff like that. And I give it to one of those people, and then what I do is I hand it to them, but I hand it to them backwards. And so when I hand it to them backwards, and when I turn my back, they are supposed to squirt me, but not realizing that it's backwards. So they're squirting themselves. Well, that doesn't fly anymore. That situation doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And certain, again, there's other certain situations that don't that hypnotists used to do.
Yeah.
I don't know much about UK. I think we talked about that. We talked about certain things that we can and can't do at the seminar that we were working on.
Yeah.
But we talked about stiff as a board, and that is now outlawed.
Yeah.
So we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I used to do that too. But,
Yeah. And it's weird because it, like you say, stuff changes, and as it changes, it's difficult to look back and go, oh, you used to do that. And it's like, yeah, but back then it was okay. It's only by looking through society's eyes now that it seemed, you know what it is. But the whole human bridge is always a great demonstration of the power of hypnosis. Even pseudo hypnosis, it was a great theatrical demonstration. So
right.
now you mentioned you're a professional puppeteer, you do theatre stuff. How much do you think that has helped you when it's come to having a career as a stage hypnotist?
Immeasurably. Oh my God. And I noticed that, especially because I also teach people how to be stage hypnotists. And there are some people who have that stage presence, where that persona that you can literally be on stage, and then there's some people who don't.
Yeah.
And they're so focused on the script part of it and not the behavior and looking very, very positive and self-assured of yourself. Those yeah, that's one of the reasons why being an actor helped me incredibly. Being a puppeteer helped me incredibly. And you told me,
Oh.
I didn't know. I swear I didn't notice this until you told me this. That a lot of my mannerisms on stage have to do with a lot of the puppetry I do, and I really didn't notice that and didn't analyze that until you kind of brought it up. I went, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's one of those guys. Do if you get a chance, check out. Let me just put up a quick link actually to Michael's website, and then follow that through to his YouTube channel. Watch some of his videos because it is fair to say, you come alive on stage, and it's like I say when you look at that through the professional puppeteer background.
Yeah.
For me, it was so cool to see someone almost take on the characters, the enthusiasm, and then I could see that, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's the first time I've seen that, because obviously I've never met a professional puppeteer that turned into a professional stage hypnotist before. That's quite a unique combination. But to see it and see your stage presence, I just thought was really fantastic. The way you kind of you make those suggestions come alive, which is what we should be doing. There's so many people, like you said, taught stage hypnosis where they just read through the script about what they've got to do next, and remember, you got to make it real, and you really do that. It's absolutely fantastic.
And the reason is because you can now connect with your volunteers, and once you can connect with those volunteers and connect with your audience, now you're actually bringing in everything, and so it doubles and triples and quadruples all these different kind of emotions. And instead of the hypnotist and then the volunteer, now you're actually interlocking them.
Yeah,
and that's what kind of brings it all in.
Yeah, and I think your animation, your enthusiasm into the suggestions gives them permission to do the same. It's fantastic. So tell us about your first ever show. How was that? What did you learn from it? What challenges did you overcome? What was that first feeling like the first time you hypnotized someone on stage?
Well, my problem was with the first time I hypnotized somebody on stage was that I was so nervous and so unsure of myself. As I will tell you this now, even the greatest hypnotists will at one point were there at one point. But now that you've done thousands and thousands and thousands of shows and you feel very comfortable and you know what to expect. And each, by the way, each hypnotist has their own way of doing improv, because if something goes wrong, then they know exactly what they need to do and stuff like that. So back then I was more focused on putting on a great show and not focused on me installing myself into the show.
Yeah.
So that was my problem. But I mean, could I hypnotize people? Absolutely. And at that point, I wasn't doing rapid inductions. So it was more of a slower process and everything. And again, I was trying to figure what works well with me, and same with other hypnotists too. So other hypnotists out there, stage hypnotists out there, or even hypnotherapists, if you're working with clients, you need to try and experience a little bit of everything and find what works for you. And when you find that, you're golden.
Yeah,
And,
I think.
So there's. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the phrase you use there, which sums it up perfectly as well, is you were doing the hypnosis. You needed to find a way of injecting yourself into that. A lot of people, and I see it a lot with therapists that do stage, they're more concerned with the hypnosis rather than bringing their personality out as well as part of the show. So yeah,
I mean, people are nervous about that, and that's fine. And what's interesting is I actually usually people become hypnotherapists, and then they go, all right, I'll try and do that. Try to do the stage hypnosis. I actually was so incredibly interested in hypnosis that I went from a stage hypnotist and got certified as a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very, very basic stuff. But when I go to high schools and colleges, I do talk about how to relieve pain and certain things you can focus on and stuff like that. So it's very, very I think it's very, very worthwhile to be on both sides of the fence, because if you're on both sides of the fence, then you know exactly what you need to do, because you kind of switch back and forth with both of them, meshes into one.
Yeah, I think all stage hypnotists should have, at least a basic understanding of hypnotherapy, because we are inside people's minds. Speaking of being inside people's heads as such, tell us about your most challenging show, or a time when it didn't quite go right.
There was okay. I all of a sudden it just popped in my head. The largest crowd that I've ever performed for was 2,500 people.
Nice.
Yes, I was very, very excited, and this was for a convention for what we call in the United States as student council. I don't know if you guys have anything like that. So it's what it is. It's a group of high school kids that kind of get together in each different school, and they get together and they think of certain things that would help out their student body and stuff like that. Well, this was a convention of those different groups, and there was a whole bunch in Michigan, and so there was 2,500 people. So and this was in Traverse City, and I literally was told beforehand that I was going to hypnotize about 20 people up on stage, 2,500 people. I get there, and they have me in the round, and I'm going, you want me to hypnotize people in the round? In other words, 360. And I'm going, this is going to be interesting. And wait, it got worse. Oh, no, it got much worse.
Oh.
So now I'm going, okay, I have to place the chairs where half of them are faced one way, half of them are faced another way, so they can see and stuff like that. And then somewhere in the middle of the show, switch it. So I'm doing that. But wait, there's more. Because halfway in the middle of the show, the mic went out. And it wasn't my equipment, because it was their equipment.
Yeah.
And the mic went out. So now you have 2,480 people watching with 20 people up on stage.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm going, and so people in the back can barely hear me. So I did the rest of the show with a bullhorn.
Wow.
Yes, that was not fun. Well, it was fun, but it was weird. It's like, wake up now. It's just very strange. So it was probably, I had to think on, just like that,
Yeah.
what to do, how to do this, because the people who were running it had no idea. They had no idea what to do, and so I just said, get me something like a bullhorn, something loud, and so that's what we did, and that's how we finished the show. The show went very well, and it kind of helped a little bit. It helped a lot to kind of put out my name so people could find out who I am. But it was really helped me with the improv.
Yeah. And I think like improv it's one of those that, a lot of the great successful hypnotists that come on the show all say the same. You've got to learn improv. You've got to be able to think on your feet, because as much as you can prep a client and say, this is what we need, this, and this, sometimes it just goes off somewhere else. And like you said, sometimes with the student councils, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what is needed. And it can be a challenge. But yeah, it sounds like a classic example of thinking on your feet and just doing what you've got to do in order to get that show done as well, which is it's great to be able to do that, but sometimes it's hard work when especially with tech stuff. There's nothing you can do mid-show sometimes. So, but I've never done a show with a bullhorn. Hopefully, touch wood, I'll never have to do a show with a bullhorn.
I don't want to have one. I don't ever want to do that again. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was going to say. But yeah, sometimes when it doesn't go quite right, it can be a challenge.
Yeah. Well, the other fun part was when I did a show when nobody volunteered.
Yeah, that's always do you know what? That's a really interesting point. Tell us about that. How did you survive that?
It was again, thinking on your feet. Now I want to explain to you this. I love older people, and I am an older people. So I was doing a show and had 15 chairs up, ready to go, and it was for a group of older people, in their late 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
Got it so far? I said, and I'm going, these people are, when they hear the word hypnosis, the first thing they're going to do is not volunteer.
Yeah.
I know that. And of course, what is literally right behind me, but a gigantic poster of me with the word hypnotist, which is probably the most deadliest thing to talk to with that right there. So what I did, I made it personal. I really did. And I said, hearing the word hypnosis, don't even think about that. In fact, I've decided I'm not going to do any hypnosis today. I said, how about if I take you on a journey using your mind? What do you think about this? In fact, I'll tell you what. How many of you have ever imagined, just daydreamed? Of course, saying the word daydream to everybody raised their hand.
Yeah.
I said, well, I bet you could imagine a really nice, something, real nice field and stuff like that. And I'm looking at those people in there. I said, oh, and imagine your favorite animal up there. Oh, yeah. And certain people, it sounds in there, certain people are raising their hands and certain people aren't. And so I narrowed it down and I go, how would you like to continue that journey? And they go, oh, and that's how I got those people.
Nice.
So,
I think as hypnotists, we have got to be so flexible in our approach. And we got to work with what we've got. Don't get me wrong, the courses, the training classes, the mentors, the books, the DVDs, the videos, the YouTube clips, all tell us, these are the criteria that you got to, and if you don't meet that, then don't perform in this, that, and other. But sometimes the reality is, and especially as performers, we love to perform. So I've done it where I've turned up at a venue and my criteria has not been met, and I could quite rightly go, right, that's it, I'm not going to perform. But I don't want to be that guy. So I'll always try and tough it out. And every time afterwards, I always go, I should have stuck to my guns and stuck to my criteria because it was such a challenge. But it's good to be flexible in our approach as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we touched briefly. I believe you've got a special guest there as well.
I do. Oh my gosh, let me go get him. Hold on.
This is a world exclusive.
This is so cool. So I kind of did some research, as all hypnotists do, and and of course, as a good hypnotist, we're kind of looking for different kinds of important things and important people to meet. Like I was very honored to meet the world famous Grant Saunders, and it was important because it kind of furthered my knowledge a little bit. Well, I happen to have traveled. I kind of looked and Google all over the world and searched and everything, and I found someone who is out of this world, literally out of this world. No, literally, I mean, truthfully, he's out of this world. And he is going to be performing the first hypnosis on Earth. Now, let me explain. This guy's name is Norbert. Hi. Hi there. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. Oh, this is Norbert. He's from, where are you from? Mars. You're from Mars. Look in the camera. Whoa, stop it. Okay. So you're from Mars, yeah? Yeah. And what are you gonna do? Hypnotize. You're gonna hypnotize people? Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna be a blast. Now, have you ever hypnotized people? Yeah. Where? Mars. You hypnotize. You do things a little bit different than we do? Well, we're gonna find out, aren't we? Yes, I'm afraid of that. Grant.
That is awesome.
Grant. Look into my eyes. Let's have a staring contest. See who wins. Okay, anyways, I have to go prepare my face. Okay, that was good. Okay, well, we'll see you later. Take care. Bye, guys. Okay, well, there you go. How embarrassing. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But I'm telling you, his world premiere is going to be this Wednesday. And we're very, very excited.
Yeah.
It's performing at a high school.
It's when we were discussing this in Michigan, it's just like, I think it's such a cool, so different. Jeff Bennick has just put up saying great. Yeah, brilliant. It is, like I say, he's performing his first show this Wednesday.
This Wednesday. He's going to be performing his first world premiere show, Earth premiere show this Wednesday.
That
And
is
he's going to
absolutely,
actually hypnotize people and give them suggestions.
that is
I'm
awesome.
going to try and, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to videotape it for everybody to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, let me know. I'll be waiting in anticipation to hear how it's shot, and I have no doubt it'll be absolutely fantastic. But I think it's such a unique concept. It's great
Absolutely.
fun, and it is like, I told you when we were talking, like if you don't do it, I'm going to do it. I don't have the skills to do it.
I
I
would
do not have
absolutely
the
love to
skills to
see
do it.
you with a puppet on, okay?
Exactly, and I think he looks absolutely fantastic as well. I really cannot wait to see how this develops, and it's so cool to see something a little bit different in the world of stage hypnosis as well. That is, and you mentioned it about one of my posters, and I like this, and this is one of the things I really like about you as well. Like a lot of hypnotists, we are like ego and dark and mysterious and serious and eyebrows, and we all look like serial killers. It's nice, yeah, I know. It's nice to have a show that is fun, that straight away looks safe, looks clean, looks nice, looks like something I'd want to get involved in as well. So that's really cool. A testament to your skills as a stage hypnotist
Thank
and
you.
as a professional puppeteer as well.
Well, it has to be family friendly. Family friendly is extremely important. And I have my dog scraping. Sorry about that. But the thing is that family friendly is incredibly important because it gives you a big gigantic general audience,
Yeah,
and it really works very well. So I mean, I like it. And interactive is another key word that I would use.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
it draws people in.
I think that the family friendly is for me. I think in the early days, a lot of stage hypnotists, it's easy to get a reaction
Mhm.
by being a little bit more controversial. But
Right.
then as you develop and refine, um, there is more work if you are a clean hypnotist, or in my experience, there's more work if you are a safe, clean hypnotist than otherwise. So, cruise ships, corporates, holiday
Sure.
parks,
Yep.
are all great
Exactly.
markets that if they see adult material, you're not going to do that. Now, there's nothing wrong in adult material if that's your market and you're fine with that. It's no disrespect to any of those guys. But for me, it's just if you can run a clean show, it just makes it more corporate friendly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited. And I love the fact that we only talk about this last week and already you've got the character. He looks cool. It's brilliant. Yeah, really, really well done. I'm really excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's gonna be
Uh,
it definitely is going to give me a different kind of opportunity and venue to see where it takes us because I've never done putting two things together like that. So it
yeah.
should be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. I say it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It cannot not be amazing. Do you know what I mean? People, like especially at kind of events and puppeteering is coming back into kind of fashion again now as well. Anyway, so it's if anything, it's going to be awesome, Michael. And I'm really, really pleased that I was, part of the kind of I saw you develop that as we were talking, if you know what I mean, which is cool. So yeah. So something I always ask, and I always think it's an interesting question, like kind of books that have inspired you that you would recommend other hypnotists should take on board. Now this could be performance books or hypnosis books in general.
Well, a lot of I'm trying to think of some of the books that I always love the Orman McGill books.
Yeah.
So that's a take. Also, anything from Eric Erickson I love too. So I love his style. Um, I do a lot of focusing and reading up on how the mind works and how and so it's not necessarily one specific thing,
Yeah.
but it is different things that have to do with the mind and how you can tap into that and research that. So I apologize for my dog. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
do not worry
I don't
about that
even I
whatsoever.
don't even know if you can hear him.
I can hear something, but it's not. It doesn't distract from it whatsoever.
Okay, good. But a couple of the people that I really, really love to bring up is Mike Mandel.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring up Mike Mandel is because he had this incredible university course that I went into and learned a lot about so many different things that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, Mike. And I use those little tiny bits, power words in my shows or my therapy and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I think it's important we're always learning, growing, and developing as well.
Absolutely.
Even after 31 years of performing, you can still always pick something. As we discovered, you can discover something new about yourself, which is truly amazing. And that's one of the great things about. It was so nice that you did a fantastic talk on stage hypnosis. And it was weird because there was, your audience was stage hypnotists, which are probably one of the toughest audiences to start with, because everyone wants to be like, oh, go on then. What does this guy know that I don't? And it was amazing. Within a couple of minutes, everybody was kind of put it in your hands as well. So it's really great for that. I know I picked up some absolute golden nuggets. But
Thank
speaking
you.
of golden nuggets, if you were to give someone a tip, some advice either to like a younger version of yourself starting on this path of stage hypnosis, or to any of the guys out there at the moment, what would that tip be?
First of all, believe in yourself.
Mm,
Believe who you are. Believe that you are an incredible person. That's the most important thing. I would also kind of as I look back on certain things, video, first of all, playing it safe is very, very important. Being sure of if you're going to be on stage or whether you're therapy, think about the person that you're hypnotizing. Are they safe? Are they comfortable? Do they feel comfortable? Because if they don't, then you're not going to go under deep enough or enough for certain things. For yourself wise, I think it's extremely important to videotape yourself.
mm,
Because this way let's face it, you're your own worst critic. And being your own worst critic, you're going to find those little tiny little pieces that just didn't work or didn't sound right, and you'll be able to see that on video, um, and you'll see what kind of things that you need to improve on, things that you went, oh, that works, or oh, that didn't work. Those kind of things I would
yeah.
use. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that is, do you know, as you said it, it's a really great point. And I just have to emphasize it, like watching yourself backwards. People will always say, yeah, you are your own worst critic. You'll watch it and you'll see bits that you don't like. And I think it's easy for us to look at that and see the things that we pick out and dismiss them by being, oh, you're your own worst critic. What
Absolutely.
you've got to do is keep watching it and keep improving those little bits until you struggle to find bits that you would critique. And then that's when you've got a good show. Yeah, you are
Absolutely.
absolutely. This is one of the things I love about, meeting and speaking with people, from all kind of experiences and walks of life in hypnosis, is every single show, and this one especially, you get that golden nugget where you go, oh, that's the point. Yeah, you're right. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been great. I love this. This is amazing.
Do you know what? It was a pleasure to meet you, Michigan. It's one of the things, it's like speaking about hypnosis at conferences and stuff. You get to meet like-minded people. You got to hold a class, a masterclass with other stage hypnotists, and really, discussions were being openly between us all on how we can improve the art of stage hypnosis, which is a really cool thing to do.
Do you know what I think was so incredible? I think that the class that I was teaching, it turned into like a forum.
Yeah.
That literally we all started. I mean, I started out with a presentation, and everybody's going, yeah, okay, sounds good. Okay, yeah, I've done. Okay, whatever. And then all of a sudden, it kind of went. We all kind of sat around and kind of
Yeah.
started talking stories about different
Yeah.
things and how what worked for us or what worked for another. And also we all went, oh my gosh, that makes perfect sense. No, wait, that
Yeah.
makes perfect. Oh my God. And so it was literally a master class with masterclass people.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it was incredible. It was extremely learning experience.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Have you put in your speaker submission for Hypno Thoughts?
Yes, I have.
Awesome.
Yes, I have. I have
That is
two,
awesome.
two classes. We'll see what happens. If my friends who are on this channel would love to come to Hypnothons Live, I'm sure Grant will be there. I'm sure I will be there, and then we could all go out for a beer and have a great time.
Exactly. That's
And
and
learn from each other and have a lot of
it,
fun.
it's in those moments where that stuff's done. So we've got applause coming in already. So guys, it's been a real pleasure to speak to Michael. Keep your eyes peeled for what he's going to be doing with Norbert. It's going to be epic. I'm really excited for it. So guys, please get some massive applause emojis in the comment section for him. Check out his website as well. And trust me, if you've not spoken to him, reach out to him on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever it is. He's a genuinely nice guy as well. It's pretty cool. So there we go.
You're not bad yourself, by the way.
Say again.
I said you're not bad yourself, you know.
Oh no, it's just a mask. I'm underneath this mask. I'm an evil villain.
I'm learning so much. Thank you.
Awesome. There we go. Jeff Benning says I'm a Norbert fan already. There you go. You see. Cheers. Oh, great show. Guys, thank you for joining us this week. Next week, we have the one and only Robert Temple, who's going to be talking to us about his recent UK theatre tour as well. That's going to be a fantastic show, a very successful, great UK stage hypnotist. But for now, please give Michael Brody and Norbert lots of applause and show them lots of love. And it's been a real pleasure. See you same time next week right here on Grant Talks Funny Bits. Take care. Good night. God bless.